events every chance we get. Now, unfortunately, you know, there are some phrases that become cliches. There are some things that get said and they're empty. But really, when I speak, I generally speak from the heart. And this is a man that really needs no introduction to people in this room. Brad Wyatt has been an inspiration to us all. Brad Wyatt is a gentleman that has was at the formation of the Worcester Tea Party. He is the juxtaposition of the center of politics here in the city of Worcester, and he is my personal friend, and honestly, I cannot say enough good things about him.
Many of you know I had a company. We manufactured diamond blades since 1964. We sold them all over the country. I pulled an Atlas Shrugged in 2007 and I sold the company. Just couldn't make it work anymore. So then I started getting involved. I've been using my building down the street for a lot of activities like this. We have meetings. We learn how to train, organize, mobilize. We do well in elections. Anyways, I have sold the building. I'm planning on selling the building. We should close next month, but I'm having a party there tomorrow night from 6:30 to 8:30, and it should be pretty good. And there's no such thing as a free lunch, but I promise you this: I'm going to have free pizza there because I'm in a great mood. But most importantly, I have these Champion of Liberty coins. They're really cool. On the front side, it looks like a diamond blade. The Red Eagle was our #1 seller. And on the back side, there's an imprint of my building, built in 1914. So anybody who comes tomorrow, you're going to get a coin, and you're going to love it. Sadly, it's not gold. But I did meet somebody who bought a gold mine the other day. I told my wife I had a man crush on him. She's like, I guess it's better a gold miner than a gold digger. One of the things that got me really involved, believe it or not, was Ron Paul. When I had my factory, I bought a lot of steel. And all of a sudden, my Chinese steel supplier said I couldn't pay in dollars, I had to pay in euros because the dollar was dropping so fast. And I noticed my silver costs were going up because I used a lot of silver solder out at the factory remote locations. And that really got me looking at the economic policy and monetary policy, and I found Dr. Ron Paul. Anyway, Dr. Paul will be calling in live to my building tomorrow night at 7:15 and taking questions, which is pretty cool. Just hope to see you there sometime between 6:30 and 8:30, and it should be fun. And I have one more thing to say. I've also booked a bus to go down to CPAC. We're going to leave on February 26th in the morning, like 5 a.m. out of Millbury. We're going to go down there, hang out for the day, listen to the speakers, go to the different booths, learn how to be better activists, learn how to get our political message across, and then we're going to hang out all day Friday, and then leave around Friday, 5 o'clock, and come on back. So it's just 2 days down. I'm only charging $25 just because I want to fill the bus. So if you're interested in that tomorrow night, let me know, or just contact me tonight. Thank you very much.
You know, so many exciting things are happening right here in Worcester. We are embarrassed by our wealth of riches here. We have so many good people who are putting up the fight to protect our values and advance our cause. And one of those people is, of course, Representative Karen Hampson. Come on down.
I want to thank you, all of you patriots out there, but I have to make a small clarification. I was a candidate. I'm actually not the representative, but I do have my story to share, and I want to thank Matt for inviting me to do that. I am a mother of 5 boys and 1 little girl. And that can be your motivation right there. My sons are 25, 23, 21, and 18, and 9. And that means 4 of them are ready to be in the workforce. My 25-year-old has to drive an hour and 10 minutes to get to work in Clinton. My 23-year-old just got a job. He has to drive an hour and 15 minutes to his new job. My next third-born, he just got his associate degree in engineering, and he has no job. And the problem that we have in Massachusetts, as many of you may not know, that when we were redistricted in 2012, we used to have 10 congressional districts. We now have 9 congressional districts. And how does that happen? It's because the population of Massachusetts has dropped. When the population drops, that means we have less representation in Washington. And because of this happening, this can be your motivating factor to get out there. And tonight we are talking about women in politics. And in my race, there were 3 of us running for the state representative seat for the 2nd Franklin district. And one of them was the incumbent. We were all women. And so yes, women are in politics. I am the only mother of the 3, but we all have different motivations that get us there. And as I mentioned, I have a little girl who's going to be 4. And I do ask you to bear with me. I do just want to share one sweet little thing. I took my grandmother, who's 90, to the eye doctor. And she was there, my little girl with me, and she saw these glasses. And they have these purple and pink bands on the sides, and little puffed hearts and little stars on there. And she really wanted to, and she's going to ask Daddy if she can have those glasses. And Grandma's trying to tell her, honey, you don't need glasses right now. You want glasses. But I said, Grandma, you don't understand. I said, she wears necklaces. She's not a tomboy. She wears bracelets. She wears rings, earrings. This is another accessory. So,
I know.
that's her perspective. Our children really are our motivation. And I don't know, many of you are familiar with Mary Lotz with the FATV out in Fitchburg. And she has a TV show called Your Right to Know. And last year, March, I was asked to be on that. And we talked about the war on women. And the war on women that is perpetrated isn't. The Republicans do not have a war on women, as evidenced by our governor and lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor, Karen Polito, is a mother, and she is concerned about the issues out there. And we do not have that against us. So these are some of the things that we do, and we think about what is your motivation. Perhaps your motivation, as I mentioned, is where are those jobs? I live in the mill towns, we call it. We have 12 towns in the 2nd Congressional District, and in the 2nd Franklin District. We have the 12 towns there, and of those 12 towns, we were often called the mill towns. Because why? We manufactured. And what did we manufacture? Well, we had the tapioca plant, we had the shoe plant, we had a bunch of different plants there. When manufacturing leaves, when it was there, you brought a paycheck home because you made a good, you sold your good. You had money to go to the mom and pop shops, you had money to go to the local restaurants, and it supported your local economy. When the businesses leave, you do not have that extra money. Because when you're paying for services like nursing, care, health care, those are services. Services do not provide a product. You do not get your income that way. And because we don't have the manufacturing, we're losing more positions. So perhaps your motivation would be to have jobs. We need to get those jobs back. Another one, if you're going to run as a candidate for some office, your motivation might be DCF. That was one of my motivational issues. There are 29 DCF offices in all of Massachusetts. And many of you are familiar with Justina Pelletier and the case that went on there. We do have law that we could change that would have changed that situation, and I've already presented it to Joe and a few others. We need to step up to those issues. Greenfield is the worst of all the 29 offices in Massachusetts. And that's really bad when Massachusetts ranks 49th out of the 50 states on the safety of children once they're in DCF care. The Child Protection Services have on their records 1 out of every 4 children that goes into foster care is by the hospitals diagnosed with physical abuse or sexual abuse. 1 out of every 4. You know that there are some that are not talking, and there are some that are not saying anything. So really the statistics are higher, and we need to change this. Perhaps your motivation is something else. Maybe it's the veterans. When we are spending more on the immigrants coming in illegally than we are on spending on our veterans. These veterans get out there and they say, we will give our whole lives for our country and our freedom. And they come back with this post-traumatic stress disorder, and we do not even provide the care for them in that manner. Shame on us. And maybe that is your motivation. We also have, as I mentioned, this immigration problem. Do you go to the store and handle everything? Do you know where those things have been? Do you know if they have Ebola that have touched that last? Do you go and touch clothes? How many people have touched that product before you? And I'm not here to frighten you, because you guys know about Agenda 21 and all that stuff better than I do. So I am here just to bring the point that you have a motivation that gets you from this point to that point. So we say, why do we have these empty seats for no one is contesting? Why are there not everyone having a contested seat? How is it that there are some offices that don't even get filled, whether it's the city council or whether it's a school committee, all these other offices, and it's because people haven't been asked. Mike Ruby of the 495 group has this campaign in a box. What it is that your RTCs, your RCCs would step up and they would say, look, we just went through a campaign. I just went through a campaign this past year. We already know who the letter writers are. We know who are the people that are willing to stand out there holding signs. We know who the people are that can't do either of that but are willing to write that check out. When we have all that information, all we need to look for is that candidate. But how do we find that candidate? And it's very simple. We can go to Facebook, we can go to Twitter, we can go to LinkedIn. Who are the people that have the most friends? Who are the people that are good with people skills? The nursing field, the counseling field. Who are people that get along with us? Those that are in their own home businesses, Tupperware, Pampered Chef. Those that work with people are good people. And why aren't they running for the offices? Have you picked up their motivation? Have you heard their motivation? When you find what they're motivated for, then you can guide and say, hey, look, our RTC, you know what? You are so good on the Second Amendment. We would love to have you come. We've got people that will write letters for you. We've got people that will give you the funds for your campaign. We've got people that will hold signs. Once you get that team together, you can put the candidates in the right spots. Can women make a difference in politics? Absolutely. Absolutely. More than that. Besides out there looking for the candidates, what motivates you? Maybe it's not someone else we're looking for. Maybe it's you we're looking for. And that's a thank you.
You know, you really should never get comfortable in your chair. That's the secret to being a good master of ceremonies, is not really being comfortable in your chair. You should probably get the wobbly chair too, if you can. All right, I have one last announcement, a late breaking announcement from my close personal friend. John, can you come on down? Just come on down, come on down.
Last couple days, he's back in the United States. He's on another book tour, and the good news is, if you remember his first book, The Devil Within, the people who made the movie, I believe it's the people who made Coming to America. Unfair, thank you. Are going to make that book into a movie. And the idea of this is to change the course of the presidential election that's coming up. They're looking for benefactors for this, contributors for this. You can go to his website and donate if you would like. But the good news is, at some point in time, and I'm going to organize it for him, probably middle to the end of March, he's going to be somewhere in this area, at least a couple times. So I will be able, I'll spread it out in the information when I get it, because he already has some dates booked in Connecticut. But he wants to hit somewhere in New Hampshire, he wants to hit Rhode Island, wants to hit a couple in Mass. So I'm going to coordinate a lot of those things for him. I just want to let you know, so be watching for that. I'm sure, you know, we'll get it out through all the tea parties and all the other social networks we can. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, John. In conclusion, I want everybody to remember that political campaigns don't actually end. We don't really stop them. We have to continually advance our cause. If we are not advancing our cause, if we are not taking up the burden of this, we are seceding our rights to those that would abuse them. We are giving up, and I refuse to give up. And I encourage everyone in this room to people like Jackie Costas, who's going to be standing up. And Bobby, who are also going to be standing up. They're going to be running for offices in this area. We need more people doing this. More people coming up, taking up the burdens that we have going on, and securing our rights for ourselves and for our children. This is what needs to be done. This is how we will advance our cause. And I encourage everyone to reach out to me personally in any possible way. And we will work to support you as best we can. Thank you.